there should be integration of technology in our learning and teaching practice. So the National Mission on Education for ICTs, originally in India, founded this idea of virtual labs, which was participated by a variety of institutions. If I understand correctly, there are 12 institutions that are participating in the virtual lab, including the Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, which is represented by Mr. Sanish, who is the trainer and the resource person for this initiative. Many of the Indian institutes of technology joined hands. So what we are going to witness today demonstrated to you in a variety of subject areas, ranging from electronics and communications, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, civil, biotechnology and biomedical engineering, chemical, physical. All these experiments are the efforts of various Indian Institute of Technologies and other institutions that form part of the consortium, which has produced the V-Lab, what they call for India. And this is very, very interesting because the idea is to promote remote access to simulation-based labs in various disciplines of science and engineering, so that enthusiastic students could conduct experiments online. And it's all about remote experimentation and repeated experimentation, so that you can finalize your skill in learning the concepts, learning a particular experiment, and using a learning management system rather than a classroom or a laboratory setting to understand science and technology. That's the idea of virtual labs. And there has been a lot of interest in this effort all around the world. And together with Mr. Sanish and his colleagues at Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, we were able to provide this experience in various countries in Asia and also in Africa. And today, thanks to Dr. Manas Panigragi and Dr. Rasmin, and the request made by Dr. Vehella, we are bringing this experiment to Sri Lanka. So this is not an isolated effort of SEMCA, and we want this entire webinar of 2 days, the online demonstration, to enthuse the government of Sri Lanka, the various partners in Sri Lanka, and the student community and the teaching community to understand the role of ICT-enabled learning, particularly in through simulation, experimented through the virtual labs, as something that Sri Lanka would want to initiate for the future. And if Sri Lanka wants to initiate such a lab for Sri Lanka in Sinhala, in Tamil, in English language learning and teaching, we are there to support you. So with those few words and that promise, I want to hand it over back to Dr. Rasmin. And thanks again, Dr. Rasmin, for this a brilliant opportunity that you have given us, SEMCA, to do something useful for your society. Thank you.
It is our pleasure to have you with us in this timely seminar, Dr. Bashir Ahmed Sadraj. And thank you also for offering this wonderful opportunity for Sri Lankan teachers and for the entire education sector. And I know SEMCA has been a very good educational development partner for Sri Lanka in the past as well. So we can start the session now. Before I invite a resource person, I have two very quick announcements. Number one, may I also ask all the panelists to on their video cams so we could see each other, and the participant can also see you all. So that is number one. Number two, this seminar is going to be in English. That doesn't mean if any of you finding difficulty in understanding some of the terminologies used by our resource person, Mr. Sanish, we can definitely translate them into local language that you are comfortable with. So in case if you need some clarification, unfortunately, we might not be able to translate everything into local languages. So this is meant in English. However, if you need some clarifications either in Sinhala or Tamil, please feel free to raise your hand. And with my colleague, Dr. Manas, and we will be able to accommodate your request. And we will do our maximum in order to help you to understand, clarify whatever it is that is in the local language. Now it is time for me to introduce our resource person today, Mr. Sanish. He is the project manager and the technical lead of Physical Sciences Lab at Amrita Vishwavidya Peetham. I'm sorry. And he is the supervisor of visual lab development classes and specialist in quality control of physical science simulation-based learning. And we are so happy to have him today with us. And Mr. Sanish, it is your time now.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi, for introducing me. So I would like to express my gratitude to the SEMCA and the higher education in Sri Lanka for giving me an opportunity to explain and expand the use of this virtual lab in Sri Lankan countries. So without any ado, I will just start my presentation. So I'm sharing my screen. Dr. Rashmi, I'm not able to share the screen.
Okay, so we will have Dr. Manas to support us to resolve that concern. Just hold on for a second.
Yes.
Now you are a co-host. You can share now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I hope all of you can see my screen. If you are facing any difficulty to see the screen or any problem with my voice or video, please let me know. And also, if you have any queries regarding the virtual lab, any introductions or demonstration, please note it down. And at the end of Q&A session, we can clarify all the doubts related to that. And also, I'm happy to have, if you have any queries related to the presentation or demonstration, you can raise your hand. As Rashmi mentioned, please feel free to interact with me in between these sessions. Okay. So with that, I'll just starting. Yeah, so once again, welcome all of you and warm good morning each and everyone for this virtual lab online workshop. So we call this project as Value Virtual Lab, which stands for Virtual Amrita Laboratories Universalizing Education. It is being funded by Ministry of Education under National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology. It's a Government of India initiative to enhance students' laboratory experience and their motivation to learn science subjects. Okay. So before starting the session, I would like to introduce our principal investigator, Dr. Krishnashree Achyuth. She is the Dean of PG Program, School of Engineering, and she is the Director of Cybersecurity Systems and Network. And she is the principal investigator of Virtual Lab project, and she provided all the guidance and support for developing this beautiful platform for the societal benefit for the students. So myself, Sanish, I'm working as a project manager. And a little bit about our university. So it's not intended, but I just skip for some minutes. So Amrita is recognized as #1 private university as per the THE World University ranking, and also #1 in India as per international faculty as per QS World University ranking. Also, as per the National Institute of Ranking Firmware, Amrita is recognized as 5th best university in India. So this is some of the furthers that we have as per the, because of the effort from all the faculty members, research scholars, students from our university. So I just want to mention that. So come back to our sessions. So is there something wrong, or is the present system of education is sufficient? So that is the basic question behind the development of this platform. So the right hand side, you can see the common that features that everybody used to mention about the education system. So as you can see, there is a test that everybody have to climb the tree, and whoever climbing the tree, they will pass the test. So as you from this image is very clear that each of the individuals have different ability. So, but one test or one mode of teaching is not able to cater each individual's needs separately. So that is one of the barrier for our traditional education system. So we thought about is graduation is enough, because every year in India, especially, there are 14 million students are graduating, but very few are able to find the correct career or jobs related to what they have learned in their college or schools. But majority of students are diverting from their area and they are losing interest in their subjects. So is that because of the education system or because of the students' attitude? So exactly we don't know, but there are something that influences students' interest for keeping their career in the subject what they have learned. I'll just want to go through some of the images to just want to go through the thought process. So the right hand side, you can see the smartphone, that is modern smartphone, and left hand side, you can see the telephone, which is almost 100 years old. Okay. Similarly, if you are comparing with the automobile, the right bottom, you can see the automobile, which is almost all the automation, safety features, etc. But left top, you can see the automobile, which is 100 years old. Okay. So you can think about there are a lot of innovations and technologies are implementing in this technologies or today's needs. But if you are come to our traditional education system, that you can see instead of a blackboard, we are using gray board or a whiteboard, and sometimes we are using projector screen. But method of teaching is almost similar, and that is not a drawback of our faculty members, but it is a barrier for catering each individual's needs separately, because some students have to see what is the theory behind what they are learning. Some students need to touch the equipments or apparatus. So some students want to write it and they need to visualize it. Then only they can understand the concept behind the subject what they are learning. But some of these barriers in our traditional classroom, one faculty members may not be able to cater or handle each student's needs individually. So these are the already existing technology. All of you may be aware of this. The left top, you can see the pilot simulator. So today's world, all the pilot or training using this type of simulations or augmented tech setup. So he will get all the rough and tough situations that can happen in the real life situation. So once he trained using this type of simulation, his confidence level will increase, and also he can handle the real aircraft without fear. So similarly, the right top, you can see the remote control operation theater. So that system is called Da Vinci, where actual doctor is placing somewhere other geographical location, or he or she can perform the real-time operation using this technology. Similarly, the left bottom, you can see the driving simulator. So today's world, we are using this type of simulator for providing the driving test and training, etc. And also the right bottom, you can see the augmented reality, that we are virtual reality, that is going to be the next generation of teaching or learning process. So in this technology, students can see the three-dimensional picture or view of the subject, what they are learning, and they can twist it and see the subject very clearly while learning about the topic. So these are the already existing technologies, but why we are not implementing anything into our classroom scenario or our education system? So traditional laboratories are very much important because we are considering this as the initial step for handling the real world problem, right? So when we are providing with some certain problems to the students have to follow certain procedure, and they need to think a little bit, or critically they need to analyze how to solve the problem, and sometimes they have to apply the derivations equations to find the solution of the problem. So that skill enables them to solve the real world problem. So that's why we are providing so much importance for the laboratory education. The theoretical part is almost important, but that what they have learned, they need to apply what they have learned in the classroom. So that's why the laboratories are very much important in our education system. But unfortunately, majority of the institute may not be able to afford or maintain the costly equipments in their laboratory. So as you can see, there are poor situation in some of the colleges. So what happened is students that influence students' interest as well as the learning ability for the certain experimentation. So that will also contribute their academic score as well as their career. So these are some of the labs we are visited as part of the virtual lab project. So as you can see, that poor situation and lack of chemicals or apparatus that will influence students' enthusiasm, also interest for performing the experimentation. So to overcome this barrier, Government of India took the initiative to create a project that is called Virtual Lab, and there are 12 prominent institutes participated for developing this virtual lab. So these are the participating institutes. Amrita Vishwavidyapitham is one of the partner institute. Similarly, we have IIT Bombay, IIT Kanpur, IIT Delhi, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, IIT Roorkee, IIT Guwahati, IIT Hyderabad, Dalbag Education Institution, National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, College of Engineering, Pune. So all these institutes are participated for developing this virtual lab, where Amrita is mainly focusing on biotechnology, biomedical, physics, chemistry, etc. And IITs and other institutes are focusing on engineering branches like civil, mechanical, electronics, computer science, etc. Yeah, so I just want to know how do you rate your awareness about virtual lab? So I just want some interactions with the participants. So I request all of you to quickly type in the chat box whether please rate your awareness about this virtual lab. So I will continue after that. So you can quickly type in the chat box. So Dr. Manas, I hope that they can type in the chat box. Is it?
I can also see some participants raising their hands.
Yeah, they can. Chat box is access to them.
Okay, great. So I request all of you can type in the chat. Quickly you can type A, B or C. So I just want to know how many of you are already aware of this virtual lab and so I think there are using the hand raising. So
Yeah, no. People are writing in the QA section. So that is also a good way to see.
okay, great. Yeah. Yes, thank you. So I can see there are some responses in the QA. Yes. A, B, yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. I can see there are a lot of A that is not at all aware, and some of the participants are somewhat aware and extremely aware about that. So even though if you are gone through this virtual lab platform, I will provide a brief introduction as well as a demonstration of the sections. So thank you very much for providing your answers. So I'll just go on with my presentation. So motivation behind this virtual lab, just want to discuss some of the motivation. So first one is the physical distance that limiting during the experimentation. So all of you are aware that the students can perform this laboratory session only allotted time, right? So what will happen if the students may not be able to complete the experimentation? He or she have to repeat the same experiment at the next available time. So that will also reduce their effort, increase their effort to perform the experimentation. And also they need to repeat all the procedures like preliminary adjustment, etc. So that is one of the barrier for students to complete the experimentation. Second one is the cost-effective and hands-on experience. Because of the fact that several equipments are really costly, students are not allowed to play with those experiments, right? So for example, in mechanical engineering, there are several equipments called UTM machine, Universal Testing Machine. So usually students that lab instructor are performing the experimentation, he will demonstrate how to perform the experiment using the UTM machine, and students will get a reading from the machine. Using those readings, students can calculate the objective or aim of the experimentation, but they are not allowed to directly change most of the parameters in that equipment. So that will also affect students' learning to understand the complete effect of the experimentation. The third one is sharing of costly equipment. So usually the institute are not allowed to share the costly equipment, but through this virtual lab project, we are providing a facility. This is especially in India. So we are inviting the faculty students from the nearby institute, and they can actually visit our laboratory setups and they can perform the costly related experiments in our lab as well. So I'll just combine into 4 points. So first is to provide a remote access to labs in various disciplines of science and engineering. And second is to cater the students at the UG level, PG level, as well as the research scholar. And third is to enable the students to learn at their own pace and arouse their curiosity. And fourth is to provide a complete learning management system that include web resources, video lectures, animated demonstrations, and self-evaluation. So the beauty of this project is students can learn at their own pace, irrespective of their time schedule. They can perform the experiments at the late night or early morning based on their interest. And all the contents are available in one platform. So they don't need to search for any other resources to understand the basic principle or procedure of the experimentation. So today's world, the informations are abundant. Like there are a lot of informations are available in internet. But the right information is very difficult for the students to identify. So what we have done is we have combined all the relevant information into one platform, which is particularly for the laboratory experimentation. So this will be reduce their effort for understanding or gathering the information related to the experimentation. So these are the broad areas of virtual lab we have. So we have biotechnology and biomedical engineering, chemical science, physical science, electronics and communication, computer science and engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and chemical engineering. So that one of the advantages of this platform, I just want to mention. So if the students or a faculty members, they want to do the interdisciplinary subject. For example, it's a student from a physical science, if they want to do some electronics or computer science related experiment, this platform provides an opportunity to explore other laboratories as well. So especially in chemistry, chemical science, that students are not allowed to play with a lot of chemicals or resources. But through this platform, they'll get a chance to see what are the apparatus in the laboratory and how to perform the experiment, and typically how the students are performing in other laboratory as well. So there are 4 types of virtual labs we have. So we have one is animation type. So animation is just like a watching video. So when students watching video, they can easily memorize the scenes or a procedure that they need to perform in the traditional laboratory. So instead of reading a textbook or a paragraph, they can easily memorize the procedure once they're watching it as a video, right? So that is the advantage of.
Sanis,
Yes.
Could I very kindly stop you for a second to clarify something with Dr. Manas? I'm seeing increasing number of participants raising their hands. I think they can use the chat box now. It has been enabled, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now chat box is in working mode.
All right, excellent. So if you have any comments or something to clarify, you can always use the chat box. Sorry about the interruption, Mr. Sanish. You can continue now.
Yeah, thank you very much. So as I mentioned, you can use the chat box for if you have any queries, or if I ask any question, you can put in the chat box instead of the Q&A session. So let's come back to our session. So as I mentioned, that animations provide a better view or idea about how to perform the experiments in our traditional laboratory. And second one is the interactive animation. So interactive animation is just like an animation, but some part of the animation students have to interact with it using keyboard and mouse. So what is the advantage of using interactive animation? That will provide a better understanding about the important steps that students have to perform in the traditional laboratory. So when there is an interaction with the platform, students can engage with it, and they will be very much interested to perform the experimentation. And also they can easily relate what they have interacted in the platform with their traditional laboratory setup. So that is the advantage of using interactive animation. And third one is the simulation. Simulation is just a replica of our traditional laboratory, where students can see the schematic representation of our laboratory setup, apparatus, equipments, etc. And there is a control panel in the simulation. So students can vary the parameters of the apparatus, and they will get the real-time data as an output. And fourth one is the remote trigger lab. That is the technology developed by Amrita and other IITs. So where actual apparatus are kept in Amrita and other IIT institutions. So students will get an opportunity to remotely access those real apparatus in real time. So the right hand side, you can see the representation of the animations or interactive animation. So you can see that this window will provide what are the components or apparatus chemicals that students how to use. They are going to use in the laboratory session, and they will get a better picture of the shape of the apparatus, name of the apparatus, and name of the chemicals that what they are going to use in the traditional laboratory. So this is the interactive animations or animation window. Similarly, that right hand side, you can see the simulation schematic representation of the simulation window. So this is experiment called EMF measurement. So as you can see, there are two beakers connected with the U-tube over here. And you can see there are two electrodes connected with voltmeter. And right hand side, there is a control panel where students can vary the temperature and they can vary the concentration of the solution. And also there are a lot of options for choosing the electrode as anode and cathode, right? So in our traditional laboratory, we may not be having so much options for perform the experimentation. And also that room temperature, pressure, everything that we cannot easily change in our traditional laboratory. But using this platform, students can explore and also they can think out of the box, like what will be the effect of changing pressure or temperature in this particular experimentation. So for example, in projectile motion or compound pendulum, that what will happen if the students perform the same experiment on the surface of moon or any other planet. So those type of visualization they'll easily get from this platform. So this is the remote trigger lab. So right hand side, you can see the live streaming of the apparatus, and students will get the real-time data as a graphical representation. And also they can export the data as a CSV file, and using the file, they can analyze the objective or result of the experimentation. So this is the architecture of the remote trigger lab. So I just quickly go over it. The left-hand side, you can see the client system where the faculty members or students are accessing. Once they are logged into the portal, they can access all the content from our Collab server. So Collab server, we are keeping all our content like theory, procedures, everything in the Collab server. And RT server, that is called remote trigger server, that connected with all the peripherals like IP camera, DAC, and IO devices. So once they are logged into the portal, it will provide a real-time data from these peripherals. So a little bit about the development step of virtual lab. So initially we have conducted a survey all over India to identify what are the most common experiments that using by most of the universities in India. So we have created a list of experiments to converted it as a virtual lab. So after that, with the help of subject matter expert, we created storyboard and all the content. Then with the help of software engineers and animators, we created this animation, simulation, interactive animation, etc. So once we have created that, review panel will review the content for each of the component. So once they approve it, we will commit into the virtual lab server. So once we are committed into the server, all the users can freely access all the resources using internet. So only requirement is internet enabled system that you can easily access this virtual lab platform. So these are the labs under biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So we have biosignal processing, bioinformatics, neurophysiology, biochemistry, population ecology, immunology, etc. Similarly, these are the labs under chemical science. So we have physical chemistry, organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry. So under each of these labs, we have at least 8 to 10 experiments are available. So in our total platform, we have around 700 plus experiments are available for the public. So these are the physical science virtual lab, electricity and magnetism, heat and thermodynamics, harmonic motion and waves, modern physics, laser optics, mechanics, electric circuit, optics lab, and solid state lab. So we do have some mechanical engineering, wind energy, solar energy, and one computer science lab as well, wireless sensors and network. So those who are interested, they can go and explore from the platform. So this is the homepage of Amrita Virtual Labs. I request all of you to note down this site address, vlab.amrita.edu. So you can just note down this site address. So we'll use this site address for the hands-on session. All right. Yeah. So once you go through any of the experimentation from the platform, you can see there are several tab set of arrangement for each of the component. So it is starting from theory, then procedure, self-evaluation, simulator, assignments, reference, and feedback. So why we are keeping it as a separate tab? Because students have to follow each tab carefully in order to get a complete idea about the experimentation. So they need to refer the theory. So theory contains all the theoretical definitions, derivations, applications, etc. And procedure tab contains how to perform this virtual lab as well as the real lab experimentation. And we have a self-evaluation quizzes. So that will enable the students to test their basic knowledge about the experimentation. And also there is an assignment, reference, and feedback. So a request that feedback is very much important for us because every time we are modifying this platform based on the feedback. So we cannot claim that this is absolutely perfect platform for the learning, but still there are some modifications or add-ons are needed for make it more usable. So that's why we are very much providing important for the feedback. So if you find anything that is not clear or some procedures are very difficult to follow, you can mention in the feedback also. So our technical team will evaluate it, and if it is necessary, we will rectify the issues with the platform. And some of the experiments we have provided video tutorials also that will provide a better insight about the experimentation, and this will provide how to effectively perform the experiment in the real laboratory. So this is the main website, vlab.co.in. So this is the Ministry of Education's Government of India's virtual lab website. So from this website, you can access all the labs created by IITs and other participating institutes. So you can note down this site address also, vlab.co.in. All right. So this is the launch of this virtual lab project on 23rd February 2012. So we started this project around 2010 and we launched this project on 2012 by the Ministry Kapil Sibal at that time, MHRD Minister. So after launching this project, we provided this platform as free of cost to all the institute in India. And the students are getting benefit from using this platform. And we do have some prominent visitors. So the left-hand side, you can see there is a Nobel laureate. So that's Carl Wilman. And right-hand side, the Nobel laureate, Leland Hartwell. So maybe you are aware of the FET lab, PHET FET lab. So that Leland Hartwell is man behind the development of those FET labs. So what they are commenting on this virtual lab, this is dramatically reduced the time for real experimentation. So which is true when students perform this laboratory experiments using virtual lab, they can very effectively handle the time in the traditional laboratory. And quality of the questions, what they are asking to the illustrator will be much higher once they are gone to this platform. So a little bit about the Nodal Center program. So in India, we are implementing this virtual lab through this Nodal Center program. So we are selecting several institutes as a Nodal Center, and we are providing all the necessary support like trainings and all the support for using this platform as part of their curriculum. So currently we have around 200 plus Nodal centers as part of this virtual lab project in India. And this cumulative growth of this Nodal centers that representing the importance of this virtual lab in the upcoming education system. So this workshop registration, this graph representing the registration for the workshop. So that unique number representing the importance of this project. So during this COVID strike happened, we have a lot of interest we have received to implement this platform as part of their curriculum. So during this COVID time, that majority of the faculties are learn how to use the video conference, online platforms, teaching tool, but they struggle to handle the laboratory sessions, right? But using this platform, that our nodal centers and most of the institute are very much utilize this platform, and they did not break the education system during the COVID time or even post-COVID time also. So these are some of the photos of on-site training. So usually we are conducting this as a 1 day or 2 day sessions for providing the hands-on experience of the virtual lab. And little bit about the usage of virtual lab. So the exponential graph, that blue color graph representing the exponential growth of this virtual lab. So currently we have around 60 lakh of students are using this virtual lab as part of their curriculum. So that showing the importance of this virtual lab project. So as part of the virtual lab, we have conducted several research studies to show how this virtual lab are impacting students' learning and how this provide and how this platform gaining their traditional knowledge comparing with the traditional classroom teaching scenario. So we have for that, we have 1 patent, 21 journal article, 10 book chapters, 51 conference papers, and 11 conference posters are published. So all the details are available in the website. I will just go through that description. So those who are interested, you can go and read the article. So we'll get an idea about how this virtual lab are changing our traditional teaching situations. So in a nutshell, it is an on-demand lab. So all the students can learn at their own space. And it's an integrated learning. So all the contents are available in one platform and self-evaluation quizzes that will enable the students to test their basic knowledge before coming to the lab or after doing the laboratory session. And animations and video tutorial that will provide a better insight about the experimentation. And also certain experiments, we have provided freedom to make mistakes. In traditional laboratory, we cannot afford to make mistakes that will damage the apparatus or that will cost that equipment, right? But in virtual lab, all it is virtual. Student does not need to fear about damaging of apparatus or using the chemicals. So they can make mistakes and from the mistakes they can learn. So as a social impact, it is a sharing of lab resources and we are connecting rural and remote colleges. And it is a paradigm shift in ICT-based learning and is the platform for exchange of knowledge and it's a quality improvement in engineering education. So we consider this virtual lab as a modern laboratory textbook. So that is next generation laboratory textbook where students can interact with it and they can learn the basic concept behind the experimentation. So the point of this virtual lab is not intended to replace the real laboratory because students should have the feel of touching the apparatus, making circuit diagrams, etc. But their learning and basic understanding of the experiments should be enhanced before coming to the laboratory. So that is where this virtual lab play an important role in our laboratory education. So with that, I will just stopping my introduction about virtual lab, and we have a short video about virtual lab project. So I request all of you to watch this. After that, we will continue with demonstration of the experimentation. Yeah, so I'm just sharing a video. So let me know if you are not able to hear the audio.
Virtual labs, broadening perspectives. Technology is radically transforming the learning landscape of modern education. Learning has traditionally been confined to brick-and-mortar classrooms. This is now changing, with the learning experience extending far beyond the walls of the classroom to become increasingly mobile and ubiquitous. Educational institutions the world over are now looking for new and innovative ways to deliver education in a digital world connected by the internet, the cloud, and social networks. With this in mind, Amrita University is revolutionizing science and engineering education by pioneering a radical new educational tool, virtual labs. Virtual labs are immersive, media-rich, online learning environments that allow users to perform physical laboratory experiments in a computer-simulated environment, anytime, anywhere. This innovative new educational technique is enabling scientific experimentation beyond the boundaries of traditional laboratories. Project background. The Virtual Labs project is funded by the National Mission on Education through ICT by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India, and is being developed in partnership with IITs and other prominent universities across India. Amrita University calls this project Value Virtual Labs. which stands for Virtual Amrita Laboratories Universalizing Education. This is an initiative dedicated to developing virtual labs in various science and engineering disciplines. Value Virtual Labs provide free and universal access to simulated, animated, and remote experiments to students. Under the National Mission on Education, over 150 laboratories are being built in various disciplines of engineering and sciences. Types of virtual labs. These digital learning tools are enabling students to practice and learn the theory and concepts behind the experiments in new and collaborative ways. Virtual simulations. Here, interactive equipment that can be operated in a virtual laboratory environment is provided. Animations or interactive animation, where students can view experimental procedures in detail. Remote trigger experiment. Here, Amrita engineered cutting-edge technology is used to help students to remotely trigger actual physical laboratory equipment and collect real-time data through the internet from anywhere in the world. Value Virtual Labs uses the most up-to-date subject content and web-based technologies to add a level of interactivity to college-level science courses. Based on the national model syllabi, teachers can easily integrate virtual labs into their classrooms. Through the use of detailed animations, mathematically accurate simulations, and a web browser, students are provided with near hands-on experiences on a large array of physics, chemistry, and biotechnology experiments, with virtual laboratories being developed for mechanical engineering and computer sciences. Specific features of virtual labs. In addition to simulated experiments, these virtual learning environments have a number of features, which include illustrated theory notes, animations, modeling, interactive quizzes, as also workbooks and video lectures that can be viewed as many times as necessary. Benefits for education and society. The vision of this project is to provide free and easy access to high-quality educational resources to higher education across India, regardless of whether they are based in geographically remote rural areas or economically challenged backgrounds. The free and open access feature of virtual labs allows sharing of scarce and costly scientific equipment with institutions that are less fortunate. This provides the opportunity for students to conduct experiments that they would not otherwise have access to. Virtual labs technology helps bridge the gap between institutions that are able to maintain physical laboratory space and equipment and those economically challenged educational institutions that are not. Impact on institutions, nodal centers. Several nodal centers have been inaugurated and the creation of an additional 32 nodal centers is in progress. Each nodal center inauguration actively engages both students and faculty in demonstrations and hands-on learning of virtual labs. With the nationwide launch of virtual labs by the Government of India, students now have anytime, anywhere access to an encyclopedia of science and engineering knowledge presented in a way that is engaging, immersive, and enjoyable. The result will be a new generation of students that will have equal access to high-quality educational resources. These experiments and labs will be hosted for open access through the main project website at vlab.co.in and at the university website at amrita.vlab.co.in. With the help of nodal centers and the enthusiasm of the students, Value Virtual Labs are well positioned to help students explore and learn scientific concepts through the exciting and innovative world of virtual laboratories. So, try virtual labs today.
Thank you, everyone. With that wonderful explanatory video, it is my pleasure. And again, sorry for interrupting once again. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Madhura M. Vehalle, Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Education in Sri Lanka, who is someone who got us this wonderful opportunity for Sri Lankan lecturers and teachers, inviting SEMCA in one of their advisory committee meetings for the benefit of our own teaching community. So Dr. Madhura M. Vehalle, as I indicated, is the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Education, and with, of course, 3+ decades of experience in teaching, educational policy development, and policy progress performance review are some of her competent areas. Now, Dr. Vehalle, we are pleased to invite you for, and not necessarily an opening remark, but a remark at this juncture. You are welcome.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Asmin, and also Dr. Sadraj, and the whole SEMCA team. SEMCA team for inviting me and also getting the Sri Lankan teachers community linked into this valuable program. First of all, big thanks to Dr. Sadraj, because I mean, I should give that remark, because, and also Dr. Manas and all the SEMCA colleagues, because I have been working with SEMCA and the Commonwealth of Learning for quite some years, and I know they are doing a versatile, job in supporting the education systems to get to know about the media-based education, different communication modalities into enrich the education, the teaching and learning processes everywhere. So, and also let me thank the directors of the Ministry of Education, Ms. Priyatana Nayakkara, Bandula Sarath, Vipula Kulatunga, Ms. Damayanti Balasuriya, and Director ICT. I mean, they are the, respectively the directors of Mathematics, Sciences, and the Biosystems Technology and Agriculture, and Dr. Munagama, Dr. Kitsiri Munagama. He is the director of Education Technology, Engineering Technology, and the other technical subjects. And also we have invited, I discussed this with Director ICT, Ms. Vasana Idrusiri, and her team, Rukmali and Sandamali. All these officials actually unanimously agreed to invite their teachers, the non-teachers, and the highly performing teachers from the Sri Lankan school system in order to join this event, and also learn about this event on how they can actually merge the virtual laboratory concept into their real practice, real world practice. I think when we consider this COVID pandemic, actually COVID pandemic taught us a very good lesson. I mean, it's a bad, thing that we have experienced. I mean, a very negative and, embarrassing moments that we passed with the COVID pandemic. But at the same time, when it comes to the education, it challenged us, and actually it provided us an opportunity to think more and think twice, thrice, and identify the other possible methodologies, whatever the avenues and the methodologies that we can adopt in order to reach the young children, the young people in our communities, in our countries. So all the teachers in Sri Lanka also, they tried their best to reach their children. They are every day, they were physically meeting the children. They used to do that. But we given this country closures, the school closures, and also in addition to that, actually the Sri Lanka is facing with some other difficulties, the financial issues, the transportation, fuel crisis we had faced. So with all these issues aside, our teachers actually did a marvelous job in order to try to deliver what they want to deliver during the year, course of the year, in terms of teaching their kids, their school kids. So I think they will learn out of this event also how they can actually, especially the science teachers, biology, chemistry, physics, even technology and ICT teachers also, how they can actually modify their lessons, enhance their lesson plans using virtual laboratories to teach the contents, to share the contents, to deliver the contents into their students. And also the teachers who are teaching the other teachers, like trainers, teacher trainers, also will have some opportunities out of this event, I am sure, to understand, to actually add some other additional knowledge to their knowledge domains, into how they can actually modify their lessons plans using the virtual laboratory methodologies in order to enrich their the delivery mechanisms. So that is the opportunity that we have actually together set up on behalf of our teachers here in Sri Lanka. And once again, thank you all the teachers and all the directors who have joined and also who have actually paved the way for meeting these teachers virtually. And also thank you very much, Dr. Sadraj and the members of the SEMCA, and also Dr. Rasmin, who visited here at the Ministry of Education last week and met with all the directors who were available at that time, and also made all the arrangements to have this opportunity a success. So thank you very much. So I let the professors and the rest of the team to conduct the session, and I will also be listening and watching at the same time. But you can continue your work from now on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Dr. Vehalla. Mr. Sanish, can I take 60 seconds from your time? I would like to invite Dr. Bashir Ahmed Sadraj to quickly respond, because this is an important remark by the Secretary to the Education Ministry. So rather than waiting towards the end of the session, maybe we can offer you a minute if that is, I know like this is not a lot of time, to quickly respond, and then we will continue the session.
Yeah, I mean, 1 second prior to that, Dr. Sadraj and Dr. Asmin, I would like to, I have invited, and you also have invited Ms. Hasini Talagala, Director Foreign Affairs here in the Ministry of Education, working with me, who will be representing the Ministry of Education at the forthcoming Commonwealth Focal Points meeting, and also on behalf of me, the Advisory Committee of SEMCA. Hasini, if you are here with us, you can just, after Dr. Sadraj, I would like to just her also to add a very few, words as an introductory, sessions. I'm taking this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Sadraj, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Vehalla. Thank you, Dr. Rasmin. Today we are meeting purely because of Dr. Vehalla's initiation. She is the one who suggested that we should have this webinar conducted for Sri Lanka. And she very early on, as the policymaker, spotted the right opportunity for Sri Lanka. And thank you, Dr. Vehalla. I think your sincere attempt to bring this whole exposure to the Sri Lankan teachers has proven to be extremely successful, that we have quite a large number of teachers participate in this event. And thanks to your team, the directors within the ministry who actually labored and promoted this opportunity to all the teachers in your country. And as you stated, that in spite of all the challenges facing currently the country, The teachers have been so enthusiastic thanks to the commitment that they have. And we are delighted that so many of them are today with us. And thank you also for introducing Dr. Dr. Hasini Talahala Senivartana, who is going to be representing the Ministry of Education, representing you at the forthcoming SEMCAR Basic Council meeting, and also the focal point meeting later in the month of December. And my submission to everyone, the teachers present here, and also yourself, Dr. Vahella, is to communicate through Dr. Hasini all your needs so that SEMCAR can respond to your needs as it has done before. We will be missing you at the December meeting, but you could always send your list of recommendations through Dr. Hasini so that we will be able to respond to the needs of the Sri Lankan community, particularly the education and skill development needs. And thank you again, Dr. Rasmin, for putting this together. And my huge thanks to Master Dr. Manas Panigragi, who has been behind the success of this initiative. And again, Mr. Sanish, as usual, you've been a great partner for all of us. You've done this in Kenya, you've done this in the Maldives, Bangladesh, Malaysia, elsewhere. And thank you for bringing this idea to Sri Lanka. And let's see this as just the beginning. As I promised in the welcoming remarks, if there is a larger interest shown in Sri Lanka, we could take it to the next level. Let it not remain as an awareness creation program, but more let us see this as a foundation for a long-term roadmap that the Ministry of Education could put in place, so that your teachers can also gain from the experience of working with simulations, augmented realities, virtual realities in teaching and learning practices. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bashir Ahmed Sadraj. And may I now invite very briefly, of course, sadly, but very happy, the new successor of Dr. Vehalla, Dr. Hansini Gunapala. I'm so happy that you would be continuing the journey that we had from Dr. Vehalla. Could you kindly please introduce
Hasini Talagala. Yeah,
Talagala.
Miss Hasini Talagala.
Hasini Talagala. Okay.
Yes, Hasini.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Madam Vehalla, thank you very much. Please call me Hasini, not doctor. And I'll be representing Madam Vehalla at the focal point meeting. So I'm in the process of studying yet all the documents and all that. Anyway, I'm very happy that we must thank you for the initiative taken to improve this virtual education in Sri Lanka. I hope to meet you in the meeting. So I think it's a great initiative taken on behalf of the students in Sri Lanka and also the teachers. So thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. I hope to meet you in December.
Thank you. Thank you. Sanish, sorry for taking a lot of time from you. Now it is your time.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rashmi. Okay, so I will also express my gratitude to Dr. Mathura and Dr. Hasini, that Minister of Education, for also contributing with SEMCAR, is providing me an opportunity to expand this virtual lab. So thank you, madam. And with that, I'll just continue with my presentation. So I'm just sharing my screen again.
Yeah.
So I hope all of you can see the screen, right?
Yes, we can.
All right, yeah. So I will just going to demonstrate how to access this virtual lab and how to log into the portal, etc. So from the Google, you can simply type Amrita Virtual Lab. So I'm just typing Amrita Virtual Lab in Google. So let's see how to access this portal, and we will go more details about the experimentation. So the site address is vlab.amrita.edu. So I will share the link in the chat box as well. So this is the homepage for Amrita Virtual Lab. So at the top menu, you can see the several details are available. So if you want to know about the project, you can go to the project, and we have a notice centers and publications. So this is what I have mentioned over here. So if you go to the publication, you can see the list of publications in this page. So those who are interested, they can go to the publication, and we are also welcoming the professors and teachers from Sri Lanka to collaborate with Amrita Vishwavidyapitham and Ministry of Education to create or conduct a research studies along with this virtual lab. And also there is a login button available. So some of the experiments you need to log in for accessing from this portal. So I'll show you how to log in this portal. So you can just note down this user ID and password for this workshop. So I'll just share the user ID and password. So I hope all of you can see the screen. So user ID is student007 and password also student007. So I'll share in the chat box as well. So just keep in mind this user ID and password you can use to access this virtual lab from Amrita Virtual Lab. So you can log into the portal for accessing any of the labs from this virtual lab, Amrita Virtual Lab. So if you scroll down to bottom, you can see that several disciplines over here: biotechnology, chemical science, physical science, computer science, etc. So I will just start with chemical science experimentation. So before that, I would like to know, is there any participant from engineering background? So I request if you are from engineering background, please type in the chat box. If you have a civil engineering, please type civil engineering or mechanical, etc. So I just want to know, is there any other engineering background faculties members are also attending? So I can cover some of the labs from engineering background as well. So instead of Q&A, please use the chat box. All right. So I hope all of your participants are from, so physical science, chemistry, biology, etc. So I hope no one from engineering background. So if you are from engineering, please type in the chat box as well, or you can share at the end of the session. All right. Yeah, so I have shared the password in the chat box. I will share it again. Yeah. So thank you everyone in typing in the chat box. Right, I can see there are biotechnology, chemical science, physics, etc. So thank you very much. So I'll just start with chemical science experiments. So going to the chemical science from this Amrita Virtual Lab. So click on the chemical science. So under chemical science, as I mentioned, you can see the physical chemistry virtual lab, organic chemistry virtual lab, inorganic chemistry virtual lab, advanced analytical chemistry virtual lab, etc. So under each laboratory, you can see there are several experiments are available. So under physical chemistry virtual lab, you can see spectrophotometry, cryoscopy, ebullioscopy, EMF measurement, etc. So I will go with first simple experiment, which is EMF measurement. So I'll just click on the experiment. So I'm also sharing the link in the chat box. So you can refer to the chat box for you performing this same experiment. Yeah. So once you open any of the labs, any of the experiment, you can see the tab set of arrangement. So under the theory, you can see the objectives is clearly mentioned over here. So we need to find the EMF of the cell, then calculate the Gibbs free energy and calculate the equilibrium constant. Then we need to predict the spontaneity of the cell reaction. So these are the four objectives of the experimentation. And you can scroll down to see what are the electrochemical series and equations over here. Okay. So all the details are provided under this theory tab. So if you go to the procedure, So you can see what are the materials required for the particular experimentation. So we need a beaker, voltmeter, salt bridge, and there are set of electrodes we have, and also we need an electrolyte as well. So you can see there are the step-by-step procedures provided over here. So you can use this procedure for performing the simulator. And also, just like our traditional lab manual, you can see the observations, tabular columns, result, etc. And also we have mentioned the points to remember while performing experiment in the real laboratory. So it is very much important. So there are certain precautions students have to take care while performing in the chemistry lab, especially. So we'll go to the self-evaluation quizzes. There are several questions are available. Okay, so you can see there are several questions, and you can choose some of the answers like this. So I'm just randomly selecting some of the answer, and you can scroll down to see there is a submit button at the bottom. So you can submit it, and you can see what are the correct answers and what are the wrong answers. Okay, so as you can see, this green tick represents the correct answer, and red cross representing the wrong answer. So students can verify their answer using the theory, procedure, or assign reference tab. They can identify the answer for each of these questions. So before coming to the simulator, I'm just explaining what are the other tabs contained. So assignment, there are certain questions we have included. So using these questions, students can perform the simulator, or faculty members, you can prevent this question as a take-home assignments for the students. So they can use these questions to perform the simulator and submit the answer. So similarly, we have a reference tab. So if they want to explore more about the experimentation, they can go use this reference tab. So we have a book as well as bibliographic links are provided. So they will get a more idea about the experimentation while referring this reference tab. And the final tab, which is feedback. So as I mentioned, it is very important for us because every year we are evaluating the usage as well as the users' opinion about the platform using this feedback tab. So you can choose the type of experiment, simulator, or measurement, etc. And there are several questions are available. How do you rate the online performance? And did you face any problems? So all the details you can mention in this feedback. And at the bottom, you can enter the CAPTCHA over here, then submit the feedback. So come back to our main tab, which is simulator. Yep. So this is the interface for performing this EMF measurement experimentation. So I just want to quickly know how many of you are using mobile or a laptop. So can you please type in the chat box if you are using mobile, or you can type mobile, or if you are using tablet or laptop, you can type laptop over here in the chat box. So you can quickly type in the chat box. Yeah, so very good. So I can see there are a lot of participants are using mobile platform, mobile tablet, and very few are using tablet or desktop system. Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So I'll just show you how to perform experiments using this platform. So in this simulation, the right top, there is a maximize views available. There is a box icon at the right top. So you can click over here to maximize the view like this. So here, as I mentioned, the right hand side, you can see the control panel. So if you are using mobile or tablet, you can see the 3 option line over here. So you can click over here to access all the control panel, right? So if you're using mobile or tablet, you can see the controls in the left hand side. If you are using the computer or laptop, you can maximize the view by clicking over here, and you will see the control panel at the right hand side. Okay. So this is the setup for performing this experimentation. We have 2 beakers, and the right hand side, this is called slider. So you can change the parameters using sliders and drop downs and buttons in the control panel. So I'm changing the temperature using the slider. And also you can see the select electrode, cathode electrode. So there are plenty of options that we have provided. So as you can see, lithium, potassium, barium, zinc, gold, silver, etc. So usually in our traditional laboratory, we cannot use, you cannot provide this much option for performing the experimentation. So using this platform, students will get a variety of electrode that they can choose, and they can perform the experimentation. And also you can change the concentration of the solution. So I'm choosing this cathode electrode as zinc, and you can see the solution is changes to zinc sulfate. Similarly, I can choose the anode electrode as some other electrode, for example, Okay. So suppose I'm using it as cobalt. So you can see the cobalt sulfate as a solution over here as an anode. So we have a voltmeter over here, and these two beakers are connected with a salt bridge. Okay. So this is a typical setup for this experimentation. So students have to identify the potential difference across the two electrodes using the voltmeter. So as you can see, our potential difference is minus 0.48 volt. Okay. So if you are changing the electrode like copper as an anode and zinc as a cathode. So as you can see, our potential difference is 1.1 volt. Okay, so we can see what will happen while changing the room temperature as well as the concentration. So it will immediately reflect in this platform. So students can easily see what will happen if they are increasing the concentration of any of the solution of the beaker. Okay. So also there is a result section over here. So they can verify the answer using this result section that EMF voltage is available. Okay, so this is how you can quickly perform the experimentation. So you have a small exercise for all the participants. So please, irrespective of your discipline, I request all of you to participate in this exercise and perform the experimentation. So I will share the link once again in the chat box for the experimentation. So as it is a hands-on workshop, you can do some exercise, and from that you will also learn how to access this platform. Okay. So I hope all of you are able to open this link. So I'm sharing one question over here. So are you able to see the question? Please respond if you are not able to see. Otherwise, you can see the question and you can identify the correct answer from the particular exercise. So the question is identify the voltage of the cell if the cathode electrode has gold. And you can see the concentration is 4 m, and anode electrode has copper, and the concentration for the anode solution is 2 m at 20 degrees Celsius temperature. So you need to set up the room temperature as 20 degrees Celsius, and you need to select the anode as cathode as gold and anode as copper, and you need to identify the potential difference across the two electrodes. So I'll give you a few minute time, 3 to 5 minute time to perform the experimentation. After that, I will continue with other experiment demonstration. So if you face any difficulty, please type in the chat box as well.
So do they need username and password?
Yeah, sometimes they need to log in for accessing this platform. So in that case, you can use this user ID as I shared in the chat box. So I'm just sharing it again.
Yeah.
So user ID is student007 and password also student007. So using this user ID and password, you can log into the portal and try to perform this experiment irrespective of your discipline. Even if you are from biology or physics or any other background, I request all of you to just try and let's see whether you can see the answer, you can get the answer or not within this short period of time. So you can enter the answer over the chat box A, B, C, or D based on your observation. Yeah, you can use this user ID and password at any time. There is no expiry for this user ID. Yes. So meanwhile, if you have any queries or find any difficulties from this experimentation, please share in the chat box. You can raise your hand or unmute. So I'll give you a few minutes time for getting some response in the chat box. So if you want me to repeat the same experiments again, please let me know so I can repeat it again. Yes, I can see some answers are coming up. Yeah, so I have also requested for repeating the same experiments. So I'll quickly repeat the same experiments once again. So after loading this platform, you can maximize the view, and you need to set the temperature as mentioned in the questionnaire, just 20 degrees Celsius, and you need to choose the cathode electrode as gold. Okay. And also you can change the concentration. So I'll just refer to the question again. So the concentration for the cathode electrode is 4 m. So in this slider, you can, if you're using desktop, you can click on the slider and using your right and left arrow key, you can simply adjust the value like this. So I'm using my right and left arrow key for adjusting the value from the slider. So our cathode electrode is copper. Yeah, so I can see there are a lot of correct answers. Yeah, majority of our correct answers. Very good. So thank you for actively participating. So I'll just quickly set up from our questionnaire. So I'm choosing it as copper. And concentration for the copper electrode, which is 2 m. So I'm changing the concentration for the anode electrode, which is 2 m. So immediately you can see the result in the voltmeter. So our current answer is 1.4 volt, which is answer B. So congratulations, a lot of participants are able to identify the correct answer. All right, so thank you very much. So we'll go with the other experiments from physical science. Okay. So this time, so I'll go back to the home page from this Amrita Virtual Lab. And I'll scroll down to see the physical science experiments. So just click on the physical science. And the first experiment, electricity and magnetism virtual lab. I'll go to explain the tangent galvanometer. Okay. So this is one of the common experiments in all the UG colleges in India. So that's why I'm choosing this experiment. And also there are important steps associated with some experiments in physical science. So that is the initial adjustment. So I'll explain what is the initial adjustment in some of the experiments. So once you get familiarized, we can easily access from this platform. So I'll share the link in the chat box. So you can watch how typical a student is performing this tangent galvanometer experiment. So I'll just maximize the view using the right top box icon. So as you can see, there is none of the controls are active. Only one button is active here, initial adjustment. So you need to do the initial adjustment in certain experiment in order to proceed with that. So that is very crucial part of the laboratory experiment. Otherwise, the contributing result error will be higher if they are not properly perform the initial adjustment. So I'm just click on the initial setup. Okay, so if you're facing any difficulties, you can refer to the procedure tab. So all the descriptions are provided in the procedure tab. So in this initial setup, we need to align the compass box. So this is the compass box. So we need to align the 90-90 line of the compass box parallel to the tangent galvanometer. So I'm just rotating the compass box. So using my keyboard right arrow key, I'm just click and simply keep on pressing to align the 90-90 line parallel to the tangent galvanometer. After that, we need to rotate all apparatus to make it align with magnetic meridian. So it is very important step associated with all the compass box related experimentation. We need to align all the apparatus in the magnetic meridian. So we are doing the same in this simulation as well. Yeah. So once we align into the magnetic meridian, we can see the needle is coincide with 0-0 line in the compass box. After that, we can click show normal button. So now you can make the circuit diagram. So if you make any mistake with initial adjustment, you cannot able to make the circuit diagram. So if you're finding difficulty to make circuit diagram, you need to repeat the initial adjustment again. So as you can see, the left top, there is a circuit diagram is provided. So all the components are arranged such a manner students can easily identify from the circuit diagram. So E representing the cell, that is the right hand side, and there is an ammeter near to the cell. So we need to connect the positive terminal of the ammeter. So you can click and drag from positive terminal and attach it to the positive terminal of the ammeter like this. So very easily you can make the circuit diagram from this platform. Okay. So I'm taking the upper terminal of the rheostat. This is called rheostat and connected with the commutator. So this device is called commutator to vary the direction of the current. So connecting the left hand side. Now we need to connect this tangent galvanometer. This is called tangent galvanometer. So we have to connect this tangent galvanometer with commutator. So I'm just click and drag the connection from the commutator and connect it with the tangent galvanometer. Okay. So once the connection diagram is complete, you can see that insert key will be active. So you can click on the insert key. So suddenly all the sliders will be active. Okay. So this is the initial setup the students have to perform before continue the procedure. Okay. So here you can see the number of turns of the coil. So in this tangent galvanometer, there is a circular coil is available. So we can choose the number of turns of the coil using the different terminal. So we have a slider over here to choose the number of turns of the coil. Okay. And also you can change the radius of the coil. So typically in our laboratory, this radius will be fixed because that only one or two apparatus are available. So students cannot change the radius of the coil in our traditional laboratory. But using this platform, they can change the radius of the coil and they can observe what is the effect of changing the radius of the coil. Okay. Similarly, we can change the current flowing through this circular coil using the rheostat over here. So there is a rheostat slider over here. So you can click and drag it to change the current flowing through the circuit. So while changing the rheostat, you can observe that current is changed. And also you can see the deflection angle from this compass box. So the main that procedure is like that. Students have to change the current flowing through this circular coil, this tangent galvanometer, and they need to observe the deflection angle from this compass box. So for taking the reading, there is a zoom compass box button is available. So students can click over here, so they can see the deflection angle from this zoom compass box. Okay. So simultaneously, they can change the radius of the coil, and also they can adjust the current flowing through the tangent galvanometer, and they can observe what will happen while they are changing or increasing the current or decreasing the current flowing through the circular coil. So these are the advantages of using this platform. So within this 5 or 10 minutes, students are able to complete one experiment where it will take more than 1 or 2 hours in our traditional laboratory. Okay. So they will get overall idea about how to make the circuit diagram and how to take the reading from the platform, from this apparatus. All those details they will get from this platform. And also there is a show result checkbox is available. So when you are click on this show result, it will provide the final answer. Okay. So students, how to do the calculations manually, because after taking the observation from the platform, they need to refer the procedure tab. Okay, so I'm just right click and open the procedure tab in a new tab over here. Okay. So similar way, they can refer the procedure and perform the experiments at a single window. Yeah. So as you can see that all the steps are very clearly mentioned over here. So if you find any difficulty to perform the experimentation, you can refer to the procedure tab and perform the experimentation. Okay. So at the calculation part, students have to do it manually and they need to identify whether their answer is correct or not using the result section over here. So this is how the students can perform the tangent galvanometer experiment from the physical science virtual lab. So I'll go back to our home page and we have a limited time. I will quickly explain one of the experiments from biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So I'll go to the biotechnology and biomedical engineering. All right. So as you can see, there are a lot of experiments, labs are available under biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So whereas Amrita's is mainly more focusing on biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So there are a lot of experiments are available under this biotechnology and biomedical engineering. So you can scroll down to see what are the labs over here. So you can see neuron simulator, biochemistry virtual lab. So I will explain one of the experiment from biochemistry virtual lab 1. So 1, 2, and stand for the difficulty. So 1 is mostly for the UG level, and biochemistry virtual lab 2 is specifically for the PG level students. So I'm going to explain one of the experiments called isoelectric precipitation of protein cousin from milk. So I'll just open the link. Also, I will share the link in the chat box. All right. So here you can see the video tutorial is also available. So as you may aware that none of the browsers are supporting the Flash content. So this, if you click over here, it may not come directly. So you can right click on this video and open it in a new tab. Okay. So if you are using mobile or tablet, you can keep press on this. You can press and hold this icon over here. So it will pop up an option like this. So you can open it in a new tab. So just quickly jump over the
isoelectroprecipitation of proteins, casein from milk. Group name for the dominant class of proteins in milk. It is potassium and phosphorus to form clusters of casein molecules called micelles for 20 to 25 minutes at room temperature.
So
to get the skimmed milk
procedures are
required for the
explained in
procedure,
video tutorial.
remove
So
the
students
cream
can
or
watch
fat.
This video ask many times.
Place a
As many times as necessary in order to get the complete idea about the experimentation. So when you are performing it, I request to watch this video before performing the laboratory, and also you can insist the students to watch this video to get a better idea about the experimentation. Yeah. So here I'll go to the animations and simulators. So there are animations and simulators are available. So if you are facing that animations are created in Flash content, so you cannot directly access this animation. So we have an alternate method. So I will explain on the if you have time, I will explain that also. Or else we will we will access this animation on the tomorrow session. Okay. So I'll directly go to the simulator. Okay. So as I mentioned, that this is the platform for performing this isoelectric precipitation of protein, casein from milk. So you can maximize the view using the box icon in the right top. So I'm just maximizing the view. So here, these experiments are created in an instruction manner. So you need to only follow the instruction in order to perform the experimentation. So in the later experiment, you have seen the control panel over here. So instead of those control, you need to read the instruction and perform the experiment. It's straightforward. So this is very easy to perform this experiment once you are familiarized with the platform. So I'm just follow the instruction and I will show you how typical students are performing in our virtual lab session. Okay. So the first one, you can see the click and drag the centrifuge mill and pour into the beaker connected with a pH meter. Okay. So here you can see there are one beaker available and there is a distilled water. Okay. You can see the centrifuge mill taken in this beaker, and there is a beaker in this magnetic stirrer on the magnetic stirrer, and it is connected with a pH meter over here. And you can take the pH value from this particular solution in the beaker. Okay. And also there is a burette connected with this beaker, and it is filled with the hydrochloric acid. Okay. So first thing, you need to pour this milk into this beaker. So let's see how we can pour the milk into the beaker. So in this type of experiment, you can directly click and drag the component or beaker like this. Okay. So we can place the beaker near to this large beaker and release the mouse button. So it will pour into this beaker. So I'm taking it as 200 ml of centrifuge milk. Now I'm just following the second instruction over here. So second one, click and drag the distilled water to pour into the same beaker to make it equal volume. So that means we need to pour the same volume of distilled water into this beaker. So I'm just click and drag the distilled water bottle and release the mouse button near to the beaker. So I'm ready to click the beaker again when it reaches the same quantity. Okay. So as you can see, we have taken 200 ml of centrifuge milk and we have added again 200 ml of distilled water. So our procedure is complete perfectly, that we have followed the procedure. So if you make any mistakes, that this message box will pop up the mistake. So if you are taking different sample, it will pop up the message like that you need to repeat the experiments. Okay, like that. So after that, we can follow the third procedure. Click on the stopper to add hydrochloric acid. Okay. So this is the burette over here, and there is a stopper of the burette. So you can click on the stopper to add this hydrochloric acid into this beaker. So immediately you can see the pH value is dropping down, and you need to stop this adding the hydrochloric acid when it reaches the 4.6. Okay, 4.6 pH value. Okay. So as you can see, the fourth step, when the pH meter reading reaches 4.6, click on the stopper to stop adding of hydrochloric acid. So that is very important step that students have to follow in the traditional laboratory. So they need to stop the stopper when it reaches 4.6. So that is the pH value for where the milk gets precipitated at pH value of 4.6. So if you are adding more value, the message post will pop up the error message that you have added too much hydrochloric acid. So that way students will get an idea about what are the pH value they have to observe in the traditional laboratory and how much quantity of hydrochloric acid they need to add. So all those details they will get an idea while performing this type of simulation. Okay. So this is how you can perform this experiment from the biotechnology platform. Okay. So I hope all of you get the idea about what is virtual lab and how to effectively access. So Dr. Rashmi, do we have how much time we have for?
Yeah. So thank you. I think we have roughly about 20 minutes, but I think we can finish the session, today's session, in 10 minutes and give them an opportunity for Q&A if that is possible, or maybe within the first 10 minutes we can make it. And also we will have to get the registration of all the participants today, because we might need to share the details with the ministry as well as SEMCA, but definitely with the ministry. So we've had a call this morning from the ministry to get the participant list for their reference. So I would very kindly request all the participants to access the link which I have posted in your chat box and fill your details so we could share it with the ministry team. We can spend another 10 minutes if that is possible and give them the 10 minutes window for,
all right.
winding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
thank
then
you. Thank you very much.
Have the same training continuation tomorrow as well.
Okay. Yeah. So I will quickly show some of the other labs from this platform. Okay, so as we have a limited time, so tomorrow's session I will provide some assignments questions. So those who are interested, I request all of you can go through those assignment questions. So I will share the link in the chat box at the end of the session, and also I'll share the feedback link in the chat box. So I request all of you to go through the assignments and try to perform as many experiments as possible. Okay. So I'll just quickly show how to access one Flash related content from this platform. So I'm using the physical science experiment, and we go to the electric circuit virtual lab. Okay, so you can watch how to access this. So tomorrow's session, I will give you a small exercise based on this experimentation. Okay. So I'm using a parallel LCR circuit. So it is very basic in our classroom situation. Okay. So here you can see that it's a Adobe Flash player. There is no longer supported by any of the browser. So in the if you are finding any error like this, you can refer to the procedure tab. So in the procedure tab, we have provided a link over here. So you can see there is a link. So if you are copy the link and you cannot directly paste in the address bar, it will not work. So you can go to this Flash plugin EOL, which stands for end of life. Okay. So I'm just opening in a new tab. So as you can see, Adobe Flash Player end of life. So there is an alternate method for accessing this Flash content. So if you are using Windows or Mac or Linux distribution, you can click any of the link over here. So I'm using Windows system. So I'm just click on the Windows button. So it will download a Flash player into your desktop. So I'm just downloading into my computer. So that is the first step. So we need to download this Flash player into your system. So you don't need to worry about downloading any malicious code because it is already authorized. So we are using the same Flash player for accessing the Flash related content. Okay, so we are upgrading into the HTML5, which is platform independent. So still then we require you to access the Flash content using this method. So I'll go to my downloads. So you can double click to open this Flash player. So you don't need to proceed any installation procedure. You can simply double click to open this Flash player. So I'll come back to my procedure tab from the parallel LCR circuit. So I'm just copy the link provided in the procedure tab. So I'm just selecting and copy the link. After that, I'm opening our Flash player. So this is the Flash player. So here you need to go to the file, then click open. And in this location, you can paste the link like this. Okay. After that, you can click OK button. So it will load the Flash content in your desktop. So if you are using mobile platform, there is another Android or Windows phone. There's a browser called Puffin browser. So that browser is still supporting Flash content. So if you are using this Puffin browser, you can access the Flash related content. Okay. So we are upgrading into the Flash platform independent. So still then we require you to access this alternate method for accessing the Flash content. Okay. So here you can see there is a white space over here where you can make all the circuit diagram, and right hand side you can see the components like this. So you can just click and drag all the components. So as you can see, it is very easy to make any circuit diagram using these components. Okay. So we need a power source. So I'm just click and drag the power source, and there are non-contact and contact emitters are available. Okay. So these are called wires. So you can simply click and drag as many number of wires required for making the circuit diagram. So to make the circuit diagram, you can click one end of the wire and attach it to the terminal of the component. Okay, so you can see the color change occur. And also if you are clicking and drag the component, that wire is moving along with the component, that representing the connection is complete. So you should not place the wire and like this way. So it is look like connected, but if you are click and drag the component, the wire is in the same position, which represents our connection is not complete. Okay. So you have to click one end of the wire and attach it to the terminal of the component like this in order to make the circuit diagram. So similarly, I'm just completing all the left hand side and right hand side of the circuit. So we need to connect with our power source. So I'm connecting the left hand side to the power source. Then we are connecting with power source with the key, mechanical key. Then we are connecting key with a meter. And we are completing the circuit. So we are also taking one voltmeter. So this is for measuring the voltage across the component. So now we need to change the parameters of each of the component. So for that, you can click one of the component, and the right hand side, you can change the resistance value. Okay, so either you can directly enter the value over here, or using the slider, so students can easily change the resistance value. So one of the important things that you can note, while changing the resistance value, the color code also changing. So students can verify the resistance value corresponding to the color code. So similarly, I'm changing the inductance value and also capacitance value. Okay. Then we need to change the power source. So this is the power source. So we can enter the frequency of the power source. As it is an AC circuit, we need to enter the frequency as well as the RMS voltage. Suppose 50 volt. Okay. So another some other parameters I just want to mention. So there is a select view option available. If you click any of the white space over here, you can see the lifelike and schematic. So some of the faculties or students are like to see the schematic representation. So they can easily switch to schematic. So if you want to feel like the real apparatus, you can switch to the lifelike. Okay. And also there is a show value available. So it will, when you click on the show value button, it will show what are the corresponding value of each of the component. To switch on this power source, there is a white switch over here. So you can click here to switch on. So the green button representing our power source is on, but we need to close this circuit using this mechanical switch. So you can double click on this mechanical switch, it will close the circuit, and you can measure the current from the circuit as well as the voltage across the component. And also additionally, we have a non-contact ammeter is available. So you can place anywhere in the circuit. So it will show the current flowing to the particular branch of the circuit. So as you can see, it is very, very easily that anyone can create a circuit and they can take the observations from this platform. So the main objective of the experimentation is students have to vary the frequency of the power source, and they need to identify the corresponding current with respect to the change in frequency, and they need to identify the impedance frequency of this AC LCR circuit. So that is the basic objective of the experimentation. So with that, we are just reaching up the end of the today's session. So I'll just thank you very much for actively engaging with the session. I hope it was quite interesting for watching this virtual lab sessions. So I'm sharing some of the feedback. Yeah, so in the chat box, I'm sharing one feedback link as well as the assignment for exploring more about the experimentation. So I request all of you to go through these assignments. So I have shared the feedback.
Right. And thank you so very much, Mr. Sanesh. And it was indeed a very, very productive session. The first part of a 2-day virtual seminar. And while you fill up the feedback forms, we have also given you the registration form, which is for today's attendance. Let me also repost it. The chat box is quite busy, so every time I post something, it can disappear quite soon. So let me also repost once again. Sorry.
Participants are asking for the recorded video also. So
yeah, so we will discuss. I think I have to discuss it with Dr. Manas. We'll do that in a minute. So
yeah, I have already said the recorded video. I have already said. Please.
Wonderful. Attendance. Yeah, so kindly all the participants, please fill the attendance sheet. So which is more or less like a registration form. So we've had 300 plus participants, and then now it's almost like 300, nearly 293. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone of you who participated in this workshop register your details. Right, and then the next step is we will see you all at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and we will of course send you an email with a reminder note. First of all, thank you so very much for everyone for very enthusiastically and actively participating in these sessions. So like we informed you all, this is a part of a 2-day seminar, virtual seminar. So this is the first day, and the second day, we will meet you all tomorrow at 11 o'clock. The same way, you can use the same link to access the virtual seminar. And also please fill the feedback form as well. And let me also thank our resource person today, Mr. Sanesh. It was very, very productive session, and my colleague from SEMCA, Dr. Manas, and his team, including Miss Monica and everyone. And Dr. Bashir Ahmad Sadraj, the director of SEMCA, and also very, very importantly, the staff from the Ministry of Education, the directors responsible for various subjects at the Ministry of Education, including Dr. Madhura M. Vehalla, Secretary to the Ministry. I mean, their support really, really contributed, made it well. So I must thank them as well. So Dr. Manas, do you have anything to add before we conclude?
Thank you very much, Rashmin, for your proactive and moderating this session. And thank you, Shanish, for your, as usual, helping us and providing support to various stakeholders and virtual lab. And thanks all the participants for your gracious presence and active participation. And as well as thanks to Ministry of Education, Sri Lanka, and and our all other team members, including thanks to Dr. Shadrak for his in-time guidance to convene this workshop. Thanks a lot. Thanks. We will continue tomorrow, as Rashmin said, as usual in the schedule. And we will meet tomorrow. Thank you very much from my side. Over to Rasmin.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Manas. Then I think we are going to conclude the day one. So we will meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock using the same link which you use to participate in today's training. Until then, have a great day, and we will see you all